Adam is kicking us off this hour in New York City. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hello, George. Hello, Ken. Good afternoon. Thank you
Hello.
very much for taking the call, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Thank
to
you. What's going on?
So I have, speaking of nuance, right, somewhat of a nuanced question that I also think would present kind of a deeper dive into finances and other items. But one thing that, and just to give background to the question, right, I'm a younger person, 30 years old, have a decent amount of savings set up, and I've been with my partner, my girlfriend, for about almost 3 years now. When you break down in terms of percentages and savings, the big goal that I have for myself is buying a home. Somewhat have left that arena over the last 18 months or so due to the crazy things we've seen in the tri-state area, more specifically New Jersey. But I have about, if you could pool our assets, right, maybe about 90 to 95% of what to go into. And, she's a child of divorce. People in my family are no stranger to divorce. And one thing I'm thinking about doing is trying to acquire a house as a premarital asset in a way of kind of protecting myself, not knowing what the future would hold. I don't know if that's the right way to be thinking about it, but working in finance, I maybe am jaded by seeing this over time and time again. So maybe that's not the best mindset to have, but I can't help but think that could be a benefit to me and a smart financial move. So just want to get your opinion on that.
Before we weigh in on the opinion, and George leading on this one, I'm just curious, why do you think that's a good move? And it's funny that you refer to it as a premarital asset. It's very, very stuffy. Very, very, what do you mean?
I thought it was romantic, Ken.
No, not at all. What is it? What do you think it's going to do for you?
Well, so I've seen before where if in the event that me and my girlfriend take the next step and it doesn't work out within, whether that's 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever timeline that may be.
Hold on a second. Hold on. And I'm just trying to get context. If you take the next step, does that mean get married?
Correct.
And it doesn't work out. So we're already planning for the worst.
It's something that I've done for most of my life that I have a hard time not doing.
Yeah.
Is having the worst in your mind and trying to plan
all right,
for the worst.
So keep going. So if the worst happens, why is having this premarital asset known as a house, why is that protecting you?
My understanding is that worst case scenario would be we get divorced, I lose the house, and now I kind of have to restart over. And my understanding is it was a premarital asset, and then we decided to sell the home, we would have equal access to the proceeds where I wouldn't essentially be kicked out of my own house or something like that.
All right, George, that's what I needed to know.
Got it.
Now we see where he's coming from.
Well, what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you want to buy this house, your name is on the deed, your name is on the mortgage, and her name is not a part of this at all. Let's say you guys get married. It would remain that way.
Correct.
You're asking for a roommate at that point. Why would she not want some skin in the game too and say, hey, what's mine is now ours. This is we.
That's a good question.
And so when you look at the deed and go, well, this is my thing I had before we were married, and so I'm going to keep it in my name to play it safe. What do you think that does to her emotionally and mentally?
Yeah, it's a very fair point, and I hold no ill will towards her whatsoever and would obviously want to welcome her into all aspects of my life.
You did not answer the question. You're a very thoughtful young man. I mean, like really thoughtful.
But if you're on put yourself in her shoes.
How do you think she's going to feel?
Terrible.
All right.
That's just not how I want to start the marriage. Now, I understand the heart of it. You're scared because you've seen this play out in your family, and you've seen people where you've seen the YouTube comments on any video about marriage where they're saying, don't get married. She's just trying to take you for all you're worth. She's going to take you to the cleaners. They all sound like that to me for some reason in the comment section. And it's just a real kind of gross outlook towards marriage. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of cynicism. And I think the best thing you can do, if you really want to go this route, you can do a prenup. If there's inordinate levels of wealth, let's say you're coming in, you've got $1 million net worth, and she's not working or she makes a smaller salary, you could pursue a prenup as a way to protect yourselves. But doing the kind of shady, I did this before we were married, so it's mine, that's going to create a ruffle. And so I would talk about it, first of all, communicate as a couple, and decide together what we're going to do, if you're even going to go that route.
Okay, I see what you mean, because I never knew that those things. I thought that even a prenup I don't know. I guess I'm not really good at preparing for the worst. I just didn't even know
well,
that
here's
that was
the deal.
a differentiator.
I think it's one thing to batten down the hatches, if you will, an old phrase. That when a storm is coming, let's kind of protect the windows. But you don't know that there's a storm coming.
That's a good point. It's like, because you try and time everything perfect, and you worst case scenario isn't the way you should live your entire life.
Adam, how old are you?
30.
Adam, I am 48, and next May, or this coming May, Stacy and I will celebrate 25 years of marriage. Now, I'm not a marriage expert.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't say that to get applause. I appreciate the lobby folks saying that, but I tell you this, here's what I've learned in 25 years of marriage. You can't plan for much at all other than your emergency fund, right? Because life is going to happen. It's going to rain. That's why we preach the emergency fund. I would tell you this, if you can afford the house the way that we teach you to do it, and you get the house and then bring her in once you get married, and it's our house. And then if the worst happens, you still made a good financial decision and you're still better off. George?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And when
Right.
that time comes, there's a lot of state laws. There's a lot of things that you need to take into account if it did go south. And so you can do some research, do your homework, but don't let that delay you from getting married and making it we. That's what marriage is. If you don't want that, don't sign up for marriage. It's going to end in a pain for both parties here.